Marcus, Uganda is a fun place. So much has been happening.
But you know that's what I love most about this country? There's never a dull moment.
You guy.
If it's not, but before you do that, sir, before we talk, can you do what brought you? Look at the glasses. Behave yourself, guy.
Yeah, my manners.
Surely. We forget.
Oh Lord,
So yeah, this country has been. For example, did you know that we no longer have DP?
DP?
The Democratic Party.
You know what I thought you meant when you said
What
DP?
is it? What did you had TP?
We don't have TP anymore? Oh my God!
We've become Indian?
Democratic Party. It's there. What do you mean you don't have it?
Where is it?
There.
It's there, seated in State House.
DP is not in State House. DP is still an independent party. Come on. You got to.
That's what you think. You honestly think it's independent now?
You're saying Democratic Party has become...
Anyway, they merged.
As DP...
They got together and said, we must work together.
Or are they DRMP?
DRNMP. NRMP.
DRMP.
So yeah, while we were away from this, DP and NRM got together and said, why must we suffer? Why can't we work together?
You know, when I first heard that story, when it first came out, the day before he became an insider of that party, when they said a working relationship, there was a term they gave it, a common agreement or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So guys were like, okay, what does this mean? Then the guys said...
Was it 3 days later? Like literally?
It was a day later.
It was a day later.
It was a day later, Marcus.
Actually, when you know what it is, social media first leaks it, and I said, there's no way this like they just got into an agreement yesterday. There's no way that the guy can be a minister tomorrow. Then they told me, yeah, sir, it is true. The minister, but you know that seat had been vacant for a while. Actually, since the cabinet had been read, there had been
Minister,
no minister for Justice and
Constitutional Affairs. It was held by
Kahinda. Yes. Then they moved him to wherever they moved him to, and that seat remained vacant.
Norbert Mao? Norbert Mao! He even follows me on Twitter.
See? That means he's an organized guy. so talk about him badly at your own risk.
I never met him, and I like Norbert Mao because of the words. He's very flowery.
Yeah, and charismatic and funny,
yes,
and good with his words. He's a lawyer by profession.
Yes, but he has rubbed people the wrong way.
Which people?
Marcus, do you remember? Do you remember the time? No. Do you remember when UPC sold their soul and joined NRM? You no longer even hear the word UPC anymore. Is that party still existing?
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether it is existing, but the president of UPC, Honorable Jimmy Akena, is still a member of UPC. He says, I am. He just chose to work with NRM. There's nothing wrong with that.
He chose to be an NRM member.
He said
Have
UPC,
you ever heard, Marcus?
UPC will work with NRM. So, in other words, if you're a UPC member, the things that we stand for and the things that NRM stand for are aligned. So there's no point in fielding a separate candidate.
So what does that mean? You are one and the same.
No.
You have never heard of UPC now that they have joined NRM. You've never heard them opposing anything. Not one thing, Marcus.
Of NRM?
Yes.
Because their stars are aligned.
So they're the same?
Yes, they're the same, but they're entities.
Oh, come on.
Mr. and Mrs. Kagwa is still an entity, but you're one. She has things she does, Gaetano has things he does. But you think together, you're aligned together. And there are things that you'll do that you'll not agree with. There are things you'll do that you'll not agree with. But at the end of the day, we'll present one front.
Marcus.
As Mr. and Mrs. So,
are you do you believe the shit that's coming out of your mouth?
Absolutely. And I've given you a what? A marriage analogy.
When you are married, you become one. In other words, you're no longer a different entity.
Do you cease to be an entity?
No, I don't cease, but...
Does your wife cease to be an entity?
No, but at the end of the day, with this situation, there is proper fusion.
How is it different?
Anyway, having said that, DP, even though the DP party has said we're going to throw Mr. Norbert Mao out, which I don't know how they're going to do.
Then, and of course they'll say that, but they know that that's the end, that's the beginning of the end for them. Because the reason they were relevant in the first place, the little relevance they had, the little 0.3% votes they got in the presidential elections was because of Norbert Mao. Remove him and the party is done, honestly speaking. Unless you be like Jimmy Akena, who says it is existent, but we are working together.
No, that's just, you know when you tell yourself something just to believe your own lie?
What happened to FDC after Besigye left?
It's still there. As if, but not quite.
Barefoot Amuriat, what is it?
Barefoot Amuriat.
Let's stop playing games with each other.
But you know, Norbert Mao has made so many comments and statements. One of them that sticks out in my mind is when he said that when you join NRM as a minister or whatever, when you join their party, Museveni uses you as a wheelbarrow. I can never join to become a wheelbarrow. Something to that effect. Now where is he? He's a wheelbarrow.
No, he has one of the most important ministries.
Yes,
in the
as a wheelbarrow.
How is he a wheelbarrow? He's carrying people. He determines decisions.
You know, you see that, Marcus, the internet never forgets. The internet has all of the things that this man said.
Okay, be that as it may. And you know, this is why people were saying that Mao is a sellout. Mao said things about himself that he would never be part of this government, he would never work with Museveni, he would never blah, 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 blah. You know, one of the things that amazes me most about Ugandans is we're, the same way you say, the internet never forgets, we're also very short-sighted. We always commend Kenya, that Kenya has genuinely mature politics. Kenya is voting soon, by the way. And
just here.
Here, if not today, tomorrow, whatever. And they say that the problem with Uganda, it is the same guy. People cannot organize themselves and go and fight against Museveni. People do that a lot in Kenya. Guys come together, enemies come together, blah, 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 and do it for a common cause. Marriages of convenience all the time. Okay? Now check a guy.
I swear, I aimed for the goals.
You don't know how to aim. We know this.
Even though
we don't know generally how to aim.
Let me get that glove. I'm sorry. You continue.
Marriages of convenience.
Yes.
The time one guy does it, oh my God, he's a sellout. But all of a sudden, what we're doing was not mature politics in Uganda. We are very immature in our politics. The one time a guy shows mature politics, he's a sellout.
Now,
choose a side.
Now, that's where you go wrong, Marcus. And let me explain it to you. Pay attention. When you have mature politics, you go with your entire party to do or make a decision that will carry you forward. You don't do it as an individual and a few members and the others are blindsided. You are supposed to say, listen, this is us, DP. And as a joint collective, we have said ABC. The other members of DP were like, what the fuck is going on? No. And as a result of which, it makes you think, was this a selfish move? Was this a move purely to line your pockets because things are tight and you feel maybe this is the best way of doing it? My time is almost done, I need to make some money. Go with your party collectively and then you can say, yeah. But when you go, no.
I've heard you. First of all, you will never have every single party member.
But have the majority, Marcus.
How do you know he doesn't?
You saw the members of the DP.
That was minority.
Come on, man.
That was minority.
You saw the members of the party saying,
let me tell you,
they're going to kick him off. No.
Even in NRM, many people jump out and go to opposition. Because NRM has gone this direction, we don't like it, we have joined this other party. We have joined NUP, we have joined FDC. They'll come out, even NUP people, some of them come out, and the other guy says, no, I'm not there. However, when the leader of the party has said, this is the direction we are going, you can choose to join, you can choose to say, I'm not part of it. Now, he is the current president of the party. In other words,
not for long. Not for long.
Yeah, current.
Not for long.
Current, which means he represents the party's
The president has disgraced the party.
According to who?
According to the party.
Who says?
The members, the majority of the members.
Bring the list of the members, tell me who has jammed, who has signed.
By the time...
Who has joined, who has signed? Do you have
I'm not going to sit here.
Chameleon was a member of DP. Where is he now?
Chameleon?
My point exactly. My point exactly.
Anyway, Marcus.
You cannot say the majority. Do you have the full list?
Marcus.
Just because some guys stood there and they looked many... Do you know how many members are in DP?
There are many members. Marcus.
Please, guy, don't let optics fool
No,
you.
it's not about, listen,
He is the
optics
current-
matter, Marcus. Optics matter in politics.
For him to have signed that document, he signs as president, as secretary general, and as the treasurer. All those members signed on behalf of the party.
No, and this is where you go wrong. He says members signed. Members said we went for a meeting. He showed us something on the phone. How do you go to a meeting of such grave importance and you're showing members something on the phone? Come with papers. Show them what you're going to do. That's ridiculous. You as a president have got to have a little bit more, decency.
And that's all. Which president? Which president has decency? It's nothing like that.
What does this mean for opposition? What does this mean for opposition when this is happening? Has opposition died?
Okay, first of all, I think the opposition died a long time ago. In my honest opinion, when Besigye left FDC, in my opinion, opposition died. Noop tried, but Noop was, how do I say this lightly without being short?
You just say it.
It was a young movement of angry people, of disgruntled people.
And you have to have a beginning.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's a beautiful beginning.
Yeah. However, it wasn't what you would call a strong opposition because it didn't have foundation, it didn't have longevity, it didn't have a plan. It just had...
It didn't have a plan?
Still doesn't, by the way.
Oh, come on. Are you hearing the words coming out of your mouth?
Still doesn't have a plan.
Because it has a plan.
Hey, that's my opinion. Fuck off. So, FDC under Besigye was very structured, very solid, had a plan. And that's what you would call opposition, when you genuinely worry that these guys can categorically take you out if you're an NRM guy.
Yes.
Okay? Because it was clear. They had strong leadership, strong foundation, strong grassroots, strong everything.
So now they don't?
Structure. When Besigye left, FDC is, like I said, barefoot Amuriat is holding on to straws.
Okay.
So you asked me a question. What does this mean for opposition? Mao, until the other day when he started blasting Noop guys. Do you remember that time when he went on a Twitter rant?
Yeah.
For about 2 weeks. Of says, I am going to expose these Noop guys one by one. For 3 weeks, says, one man army. At that point, I knew that conversations here have started.
Now, the problem...
So I think because in all honesty, in his bastling of those guys, he really said some things that people didn't know about Noop.
Okay. Now, as opposition members, that is where you fall short. Don't air your dirty laundry. You have a common goal. If you start fighting and infighting amongst each other...
And that's why I said, I think at that point, this conversation that we're seeing had already started. That's what I think.
Okay, so now you remember we had the Sorority by-elections, which they said were marred by ballot stuffing and all this nonsense. So now you have them coming out. I think it was Noop, FDC, GEMA, PPP.
And the Besigye. Because Besigye stands over in which party now?
No, Besigye, his is a... it's not a political party per se.
It's like one of those, the way Noop started.
Movement. It's like a movement.
The way People Power started.
As if.
Yeah.
So now they've come together and say, you know what? We need to stop this.
Back and forth fighting.
Remember TDA, the Democratic
Alliance,
which fell apart because it was supposed to be led by your uncle.
Amama.
Your uncle-in-law.
Amama.
Your auntie, your uncle. Your uncle. It fell apart.
Yeah.
But this has been...
You know why it fell apart?
Why?
They couldn't agree on who would
couldn't
head
agree
it.
on who to lead it.
On who to lead it.
Fair enough. Now, this joint coalition that they're going to have, will it stand the test of time? They're saying when it comes to elections, we must stand together.
And they will. I think they will when it comes to by-elections, these other side elections.
How about general elections?
When they say now, let's all front one candidate. Chikonde kwa chikonde. That's where the problem always happens. That's why I keep trying to tell you guys, you will never be as mature as Kenya. They sit in a room and agree. We are fronting Raila. We are fronting Ruto. We are fronting Uhuru. We are fronting Kibaki. Clear. Say, aya, sawa. Me with all my 1 million people, we will back this guy. Mature stuff. 6 months before that, we were all abusing each other and our mothers.
Okay. All right.
Now here, just tell them come together and say, choose one.
Okay. So are we going to give the benefit of doubt and say this time they're going to get it right? Or is it just another fart in the wind?
And a stinky one at that. They will do well, by the way, like I have said. You know that one of Indians?
The one that has
Kabulari. Garlic, what? They will do well when it comes to by-elections.
It seems you're not meeting them.
I was in India. They do well when it comes to by-elections.
Okay.
Please note that Ant was not there. Muntu didn't show up.
Muntu didn't show up. Or is he a late comer? He will join.
You think?
Muntu is a very level-headed guy.
And I don't know when people will see this. Like now, you are there in your noise, you've left out the most level-headed human being.
Anyway.
Now, you're going to come and say, oh, we are going to push the opposition, all of us will push this one guy against NRM's guy. Eh? That's fine. But like again I say, come 2026, with this format that you have, who do you put as your running mate? And do you put together a whole different party? Because that's what Kenya does. They put together a whole different party. ODM started because of a coalition.
Yes.
Jubilee started because of a coalition. Azimio now is a coalition. TDA, as they're calling it, whatever in Kenya, DN, whatever it is a coalition. They all elections. There's a coalition of guys, they come together, they form a party, that's the one that runs. Now, we are waiting to see. 2026 is not far.
Or if you really feel aggrieved, boycott the entire election process.
Maybe.
Of course, you'll still lose out because if you boycott, those are yours.
Those are yours.
But you're still sending a very strong message
To yourself.
to yourself.
The country will move on,
You're
sir.
farting in your mouth.
Properly, to your neighbor. The only person who will smell it is the guy next to you. Because the one thing we've noticed about Uganda, we move on.
This is very true.
We'll forget about it in 3 months. We'll start quarreling about fuel. We'll quarrel about something else. We'll quarrel about Shiba's dress and Winnie Nwaji's bums. We will move on.
But I digress. At the end of the day, I have always said this, and as much as it hurts me, I feel as if these politicians, whether they are ruling party, whether the regime, whether the opposition, it's all about self. It's all about self. And this is where you as the, this is where
as the voter.
As the voter are always being bum-shafted. Because it's all about them.
The day you learn this, by the way, you'll stop putting too many feelings into this thing. Stop. Why? Everybody is... Did you know that book I told you about?
Sure.
By Michelle Wong? Go read it. A book by Michelle Wong called It's My Time to Eat.
By the way, I'm reading it. I'm on page 1.
That is Politics in Africa 101.
My time to?
It's my time to eat.
And my time to
My
drink.
time to drink.
To drink.